When it comes to the hierarchy of fanboys, Nintendo owns are right at the top. They would unironically defend Nintendo destroying the cure for cancer. Only Nintendo can actively screw over their user base and get away with it. Only Nintendo can charge you money to use free emulators and still have people defending them.
$50 fucking for this piece of shit?
Only Nintendo can charge for online without adding basic features like messaging and party chats. The fact anyone would defend Nintendo Online to begin with is truly baffling, but the fact people are willing to defend them, charging you monthly to drip feed you N64 games when they could just offer an option to outright purchase them instead, is again just baffling. Especially when they are literally charging you monthly to use free emulators you can easily gain access to and easily use on your PC or on your phone or on your Steam Deck when that comes out, which I sure as hell will be doing. I can't wait to play Breath of the Wild on the Steam Deck. If this situation has proved anything, is that pirating Nintendo Switch games is still morally okay. However, for any dumbass watching this video, it is not at all legal, so don't do it. If Nintendo were treating this like Game Pass where you have the option of playing games through the service or buying them, then I wouldn't be as pressed about this as I am, but that sadly isn't the case. You have to pay $50 a year to play a small and very specific selection of drip-fed games which you can run on almost any modern computer and on almost any phone through free emulators. But hey guys, I'm sure that Animal Crossing's DLC will make this terrible deal worth the money. Oh wait, you have to buy the game in order to access the DLC they give you for quote-unquote free with the subscription? I don't think this package could possibly get worse if they tried, especially when you take into consideration the fact you can buy a much cheaper collection of Sega Genesis games and Sega Mega Drive games on PlayStation, Mac, Windows, Xbox, and even the Switch, which allows you to permanently own those games. At the end of the day, at least we have some companies like Sega who actually do care about offering good ways to preserve games, but even still, I have no idea why they bothered to include the Animal Crossing's DLC in the expansion pack, since you have to buy the game in the first place to access it. If you are weirdly going to upgrade to this new edition of Nintendo Online just for the Animal Crossing's DLC, then just go buy it outright. It's only $25, and frankly, if that's the only thing you're getting this new edition for, it's not worth it. And for anyone who doesn't own the game, don't think for a second that this expansion pack gives you access to the game and its DLC. You still have to buy the game in order to access said DLC, which makes this entirely pointless to include in the expansion pack. Also, the fact Nintendo somehow managed to misspell Pac-Man is downright hilarious. So without further delay, let's get into the fanboys defending this completely disgusting subscription. Yeah, but there's a price tag for a powerful computer to run the Switch emulator then, so get ready to fork over money for an RTX 2080. Why the fuck are you bringing up Nintendo Switch emulation, which by the way doesn't require an insanely powerful machine to do? We're talking about Nintendo 64 and Sega Mega Drive emulation here, which even my cat could tell you doesn't require a powerful computer to emulate. You have to appreciate how desperate Nintendo fanboys are to defend this joke of a service. You know other services cost $70 to $80 a year, right? And they offer far more for that price. Nintendo offers far less, while still not offering enough to warrant their lower price. Nintendo can't even be bothered to give you messaging, but they'll gladly charge you an extra $30 in order to use an emulator that is free on other platforms. But not only that, they won't even bother to offer you the ability to purchase these N64 games outright. They are forcing you to pay for a subscription in order to access them. As far as I'm aware, neither PS Plus nor Game Pass does this. If you have no interest in beat bop pixel trash, you can stay with the $20 plan. You literally have no incentive to upgrade, so you good where you at. What's the problem? Well, the problem is that Nintendo is locking these games into a subscription whilst not offering the ability to purchase them outright. And another problem is the fact they are charging a premium for this service and they want me to pay for it, whilst not offering me enough value to pay for it. If they don't offer people what they see as worthy of $50 a year, then they won't pay for it, and they'll criticize it. I know it's a huge shocker, isn't it? Nintendo is not doing us a favor like you are weirdly suggesting. They are offering a service in return for my money. I and nobody else should simply accept it because we don't have to pay for it. That guy may not be interested in N64 games, but his point still stands. It isn't worth the money. The DLC is a joke addition to the other stuff, and frankly the Sega Plus N64 games shouldn't be locked behind a subscription service. This is a disrespect with all of your fans that have been supporting you for years. We just want to play the N64 games in the Switch Online service for a fair price. You need to change this as soon as possible. It's $4 $0 a month, and it's $0 a month on my PC and on my Android phone, whilst at the same time I'll probably be getting a better experience playing it on my phone than on the Nintendo Switch. I really don't get how saying something only costs $4 a month is a legitimate argument in this situation. It doesn't defend shit when what they are charging you for has been available on PC and Android for years while simultaneously being available for free. I mean, goddamn, you can go onto the Play Store right now and download an N64 emulator for free. Or if you're on PC, go download Project 64. It's a great emulator and it's what I'm using for this Spider-Man 64 gameplay for the video. So many people still complaining about the Nintendo Switch Online prices, and I'm just like, are you aware of how much entertainment value you're getting for $50 a year? You are getting less entertainment value than someone on PC or on Android for $50 a year more than them. What the fuck kind of point were you trying to make with that tweet, my guy? The mental gymnastics you have to pull off here to trick yourself into believing this is a good deal is truly baffling. Game Pass's value, not this expansion pack. I'd even go as far as saying that I definitely prefer to pay for PSNL than this pile of shit. And anyone who watches my videos regularly knows how much I dislike PSNL. $50 a year for a very small selection of N64 and Sega ROMs is in no universe worth the money, especially when I can go right now and buy Sega Mega Drive and Sega Genesis games for £23 off of Steam, get them permanently, and get 58 games instead of 9. $50 a year, now forget that shit, emulation, here I come. Yet yo motherfuckers don't cry about the prices of PSN or Xbox Live. Personally, I don't at all like the idea of paying for online. It's literally just console manufacturers squeezing as much money out of their customers as humanly possible, without pissing the majority off, which no one should be surprised with due to the majority of players simply bending over and accepting that bullshit. However, PS Plus and Xbox Live Gold offer far more value than this expansion pack does. I mean, why the fuck would I want to pay an extra $30 a year for the expansion pack when PS Plus has a PS Plus collection, which offers me far more value than Nintendo, who are essentially scamming my ass by charging me to use free emulators. The fact you chose to compare PS Plus to this is laughable, since even though I don't like paid online, PS Plus offers me a far greater amount of value than Nintendo Online does. And don't forget about the fact that at its core, Nintendo Online is below the bare minimum standard for an online service already, and yet they want to charge me more for it without properly upgrading the service to include the most basic features that should be standard for all online services, aka party chat and messaging. I mean, for fuck's sake, even Google Stadia has those two features. Just the other day, my 5-year-old was like, I want to watch you play Banjo-Kazooie again, mommy, and I blew her adorable little mind telling her that soon it's coming to the Switch and she can play it. Bam, worth it. That sob story is cute and all, but you could have just booted up an N64/Sega Mega Drive emulator on your phone and let them play those games on there instead of scamming yourself. In no way, shape or form do you need to play these games on your Switch, and I already know some people watching the video think that's a counter argument to my video, but it isn't. The fact I can emulate these games on Android or PC using free emulators only shows how disgustingly bad this deal is, but because it's Nintendo, people will defend them to the end of time without even questioning it. Also, think of how many times people have said, Nintendo, please do this thing, we will give you money for it, and then people are like, oof, not that much money. You can't ask for something and then just boycott it when you get it.
Don't ask questions, just consume product and then get excited for next product.
As much as your dumbass delusional self believes, Nintendo are not entitled to our money. They have to earn it through giving us half-decent services/products, something they are currently miserably failing to do on their services side of things. If Nintendo doesn't give its customers what they want in a half-decent manner, then of course people aren't going to be happy. Now, if you were trying to win the award for the biggest corporate kiss-ass, then congratulations, you're close to the number one. We don't owe Nintendo anything unless they provide us with a good deal, which evidently they aren't doing. Charging me money to use free emulators is not what I asked Nintendo to do, and it's not what the majority of people ask them to do. If they aren't worth it to you, you don't have to pay it, and you could keep the original base price. It honestly works for everyone. The thing is, people do want to play these N64 games. They just don't want the massive price hike that comes with the quote-unquote upgrade to Nintendo Online, because the service at its core is still a pile of shit. They just want to be able to emulate N64 games on their Switch without getting screwed over by Nintendo and without having to sideload Android. It's not rocket science. The oh, if it's not worth it for you, then don't pay for it argument doesn't hold up in this case, because they have to pay for it if they want to play Sega/64 games on their Switch. But hey, I'm sure the fanboying for Nintendo will go well for you in the future. And this is just a start. I imagine they're gonna add more DLC items to the expansion pack tier. I was sold already. Playing N64 games online is gonna be a blast. Anyone moaning about $50 $50 a year silly or a child or both? Ah yes, the classic if anyone disagrees with me they must be a child or they must be quote unquote silly. I mean the irony in that statement couldn't get stronger if you tried. Anyone not shilling for Nintendo is silly, but anyone shilling for Nintendo is completely sensible because it's only $50 a year silly. Also how anyone can see the value in them adding the Animal Crossing DLC to your expansion pack is truly strange to me, since if you don't own the game already, you have to buy it in order to access the DLC, and if you own it already, the DLC by itself is $25, and the upgrade price for increasing to the expansion pack tier of Nintendo Online is $30. So even if you own Animal Crossing, this isn't a good deal for that. It's literally only there to bait people into buying Animal Crossing. I was expecting something more like $40 a year, but then they snuck this expansion pack in, finding it extremely hard to be mad. I don't even play Animal Crossing.
What the fuck?
Wait, so let me get this straight. They don't even play Animal Crossing and they think that instead of it being $40 a year, like they wanted, it's okay for it to be $50 a year because of some DLC for a game they don't even play? What the fuck? How can anyone be this much of a corporate shill? The Animal Crossing DLC is not adding any value to the deal if you don't own Animal Crossing. So how does that justify being $50 instead of the $40 they wanted it to be? Make it make sense. Now after that truly brain dead tweet, my brain has been smoothed over, meaning we have finally come to the end of my video. So with all that being said, please don't forget to do all the things YouTubers love to beg you to do, aka check out my Discord server, follow me on Twitter, as well as like, comment and subscribe. So I'll see you all in the next video.